Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we have part number 7. In the previous lectures we talked about the first 6 buttons, and today we have button number 7. We're gonna talk about button number 7 and 8. But in button number 7 we have this noun 1, transitive verb. Okay, as you remember in button number 6 we have intransitive, but here we have transitive verb. This is transitive verb. This is the abbreviation of transitive verb. And here we have noun. Okay, noun 2, noun 1, transitive, noun 2. And you know when we say noun 1, noun 2, or noun 1, etc. In button 7, the verb is completed by a noun. You know when we say this verb isn't transitive verb, intransitive verb, or a transitive verb. It is completed by a noun or pronoun. We can change them, substitute them for him, her, it, or them. Okay. This one and this two, it means that both are different. And here it is called the direct object. It is direct object of the verb, and the grammatical meaning and the goer of the action or affected by the verb. Okay. In the fourth stage, inshallah, you will study all these in details. The meaning of the object, the meaning of the subject, affected by the verb. With two kinds of pronouns, however, we have here the direct object does have the same referent. So we have two kinds of pronouns. The direct object the same. Okay, so noun 1, as of here we have noun 1, noun 1. One is self or selves pronouns. Okay, they are known as reflexive pronouns. ضمائر انعكاسية, reflexive pronouns. Okay, these occur as direct object in the following sentences. She saw herself. So this is part number 7, but here it is what? The same referent here. The same referent. We can say it is noun 1, transitive verb, noun 1. Or the lifeguards splashed themselves. So here, themselves, herself, they are what? Reflexive pronouns. The other kind is what we have here, reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns, which includes what? Each other, one another. Okay. For example, they found each other. Each other refers to what? Refers to they. So this is a reciprocal pronoun. They found one another. They found one another. So these are what? Reciprocal. But these are what? Reflexive pronoun. Okay. Here we have examples. Like change with a pronoun that you can change for the italicized, the other italicized, يعني حرف بشكل ما. For example, the salesman sold it. The car sold it. Both soldiers saluted the colonel. Colonel is a person. Colonels, okay, saluted him. Okay. Here we have examples. Here we have 1, 2. Here we have 3, 4. I will give you later on. Give it as a homework. A verb like those above that's completed by direct object is called transitive verb, as I told you. Okay. Here we have contrast between transitive and intransitive. Remember, we talked about this in the previous lecture. Intransitive, we said that it does not take direct object. Transitive, no, it takes. So this is the difference. And we talked about this point that we said that some verbs can be intransitive or transitive. For example, the verb sing. So you can say she sang beautifully. Here we don't have object. Beautifully is an adverb. But she sang a beautiful folk song. This is object, song. This is object. Here adjectives or adjective comes before song. Folk song. See? So here it is button number 7, button number 6. Most English verbs are both, as I told you, this is very important note. Most English verbs are both transitive and intransitive. And very few we have in English, very few are what? Transitive or intransitive. Very few verbs. Not all verbs. Very few. Most of them both. For example, these verbs vanish. The verb vanish or enjoy. Yeah, the verb vanish only intransitive. Only. So the ship had vanished. But number 6. Only. We enjoyed the party. Only button 7. Myself good. We enjoy and you stop. This is ungrammatical. So we say we enjoy the party. The ship had vanished. We don't need to complete the sentence. Here we have exercises. I will pass. The sentence pass. So 7. Number 1, 7, 6. Button. Transitive verb has 2 forms. Active and passive. Here we have active and passive voice. مبني معلوم مبني مجهول. Here in details موجود. يعني if you want to read it, you can read for information. We have studied this in the first stage. درستوه بالمرحلة الأولى شنو المبني المجهول وشنو درستوه بالإعدادية وشلون نسوي مبني مجهول. So you can read it. How we can make passive voice. The rat was killed by the terrier. This is active, the teacher, we use got sometimes. Okay. Verbs with reflexive pronouns are not made passive. نسويها passive مثلا. He scratched himself. Master good himself was scratched by him. I can't. And here we have button number 8. But in button number 8 we have noun 1, transitive. So the same ما قلت صار نفس أي. Transitive noun number 2 إذا نفس لحد الآن. So what is added? شنو نضاف؟ نضاف هاي 3. Noun 3. 1, 2, 3. So when we see 1, 2, 3, it means 1 is different from 2, which is different from 3. It means all different. For example, the mother bought the girl a dress. The mother is different from the girl and a dress. So this is object and this is object. This is the subject and this is the verb. Direct and indirect object. We'll talk about them. Here we have 8. In button 8 we have here almost 7 or 8 points to be observed. Number 1, 1, 2, 3, it means they are different as I told you. So they are different here as I told you. Here 2 grammatical objects. We have 2 objects. One is direct and the other indirect. 2 objects close in order بالترتيب. دائما the first one indirect. The second one is direct. So the first one is direct and the second is the first one indirect, the second direct. Okay? Indirect and the second is direct object. If we omit the first one indirect, the bottom becomes 7. You see? If we omit the first one, the bottom becomes number 7. Indirect object may be often replaced by a prepositional phrase. يعني عبارة جار ومجرور نقدر نبدله. We use 2 or 4. For example, he sold the students a ticket. So you see, here we have noun 2, noun 3. We can say he sold a ticket to the student. To the student. يعني the first one is what? Is indirect. So indirect نجيب نخليه after 2 or 4. He bought them a play pen. He bought a play pen for them. Okay. He asked her a question. He asked a question of her. You see, we put of. Number 4, the verbs that can be used in button 8, they are restricted. ممكن حتى دائما تعرف give, make. We usually use these verbs. These are common verbs. Button 8, a button 8 sentence may be transformed into passive. ممكن change passive. okay. Two sentences ممكن يسووا passive either direct or indirect. We talked about this in first stage, if you remember. In some cases, the passive transform does not sound fully natural, so we need here to use preposition for them. The grammatical meaning of indirect object is beneficiary of the action. Beneficiary مستفيد دائما. Can we give Ali a car? So who is the beneficiary? من مستفيد؟ Ali. We give Ali a car. If a pronoun is used in position of direct object 3, it must be the first of the two objects. مثلا the mother bought it for the girl. Bought it for the girl. Propositional. Message good, the mother bought the girl it. You have to put it, then prepositional. You see? Similarly, if noun 2 and noun 3 are both pronouns, again, the direct object must occur first. The mother bought it for her. Message good, the mother bought her it. Wrong. دائما يكون direct يصير first if it is a pronoun. هاي خليها ملاحظة عندك. Here we have examples, exercises, okay, and that's then we will finish with this. We will have only one lecture. We will talk about this brief lecture. We will talk about part number 9. Thanks so much. If you have any question, you can put it in a comment.